Hey, good morning, everybody. Alpha Boston. I got a couple of messages regarding crypto and why it keeps going down for the last 7 days and what it has to do with what we're doing. So don't worry, I'm going to explain it to you. And I'm not a proponent for crypto. I don't mess with crypto. I just have an aversion to these things because they're unregulated and God knows what they're doing. All right, let's kick it off. So when hedge funds make money, let's say they make $100 million in capital markets, right? They don't want to report it all. They don't want to tell the government, hey, I made this much money. I want you to, tax it. No. What they do is they stash it in Bitcoin. Remember how I said to you guys, banking and finances is a gentleman's game. They're not going to audit. The SEC is not going to audit a bank unless it absolutely needs to. It's a gentleman's game unless there's irregularities, you pointed out. But proactively, they don't do that. It's the same thing goes into hedge fund management. Unless the SEC is involved and there's clear evidence that indicates that somebody needs to get audited and a raid must happen or whatever, there's pump and dumping going on or some kind of illicit activity, they're going to assume the compliance officer in the company is on the level and whatever. That's just the way it is. All right. When in reality, what happens is when they make that kind of money, they have to stash it somewhere. And they stash it in Bitcoin. Like I said, unregulated, you can put your money in there. And the idea is that you have to disclose it and pay the proper amount of tax on there. But when there's a margin call, you go to your stash of Bitcoin or your cryptocurrency and liquidate it because you got to have liquidity right then and there. So it previously occurred to me that, years ago that, whenever this is before, I'm talking before any of the GameStop saga and GME and AMC, all that stuff. I knew they were stashing money in Bitcoin and other currencies. I knew that because it was safe. If you needed money stashed away, you could pull it off. But it was also the amount of growth that these cryptocurrencies had. It's like, listen, I understand it was very popular, but the growth that these guys experienced in terms of price, it was like, wait a minute, this doesn't seem right to me. How could it be growing this much, this quickly? And that's when I realized, okay, the bankers are involved. The hedge funds are involved. The IBs are involved. The investment banks. All these other people are involved in this. They're stashing money here. 2 and 2 together, right? That's what's going to happen. So they figured it out that, hey, it's a great place to stash your money and we don't have to worry about anything. It's there. You're good to go. So when these guys recently started to really take on water, when there was a major event in which collateral went up or they needed liquidity right then and there, whether it be through the DTC or their people that they're lending, their lenders who's lending them money. These small hedge funds, larger hedge funds would go to their stash, their crypto stash, and liquidate assets. Now, take a look at these patterns that I'm seeing, right? It's the same thing as what they do with AMC and GME. Calculated drops. If you look at all these coins and these cryptocurrencies, you'll see a similar pattern. Like I noticed it. It's very obvious, that what's happening. I see these things and I say to myself, okay, it's bleeding. Why are we bleeding? They're doing something. I mean, look at these things. They're all essentially the same pattern. They're dropping their crypto assets in order to bring liquidity into their pockets so they can pay off margin, right? Essentially, when you see crypto going down, it's because they're getting liquidated. And it's because they're getting margin called. They have to keep up with collateral. That's the reason why it happens. So anytime you see crypto going down, that's the reason why. Okay, that is the reason why it happens. It's because the hedge funds, the IBs, the small funds, the asset managers need liquidity, and they're going back to their cave where they hide their money, their stash, and they're liquidating, and they're stepping down in sales. That's why it's not a dramatic drop. It's just a soft drop. So not to panic sell everybody else because they have to come back here. They don't want to piss in the pool, right? So they don't drop immediately and everyone's screwed. And remember, another thing is this. When we get margin called as retail investors, they give us 3 days in order to come up with collateral, right? 3 days. When it comes to these guys, a big fund, you got 1 hour. So that's why you see it at nighttime. You do it at night when there's less Americans asleep. They always do it at night, guys. I've seen it every time this happened. I've seen it happening at night. And then if it happens during the daytime, what'll happen is they'll start to the actual retail investors see it and they start panicking and they start liquidating. And that's why they do it at night now. When we're asleep, these guys pull this kind of stunt. So there you go. That's what's going on. There's also a chance that the Chinese are involved, and also the liquidation of some of these Bitcoins that have liquidity. That did cross my mind. That didn't just kind of, it wasn't just a glazed over thought in my head. They're probably involved in this as well. They need liquidity, obviously. But a lot of the major banks and financial institutions, whether it be Deutsche, State Street, or whoever, they have assets in Bitcoin and all these other cryptocurrencies. Okay, so when you see it going down, there's margin requirements dictate that, maintenance requirements dictate that, hold their position. This is bullish. Okay, this is a great thing. I want you to keep in mind is this: I don't have any advice to give you, period, like on cryptocurrency, let alone stocks. All I say is this: if you're gonna dabble in crypto, use your brain, use your God-given common sense, right? That's all I'm gonna say. But you know, I think these guys over who are really committed to crypto will probably buy this dip. It'll take a few days, maybe longer, but I mean, we're seeing red everywhere. It's just, I mean, wow, look at this, it's everything. You know, there's all these institutions out there that are, you know, connected to this. And it's just about every coin they can buy to hide their money in. See that? 83 pages of it. So guys, I hope you found value in this. It's not a huge lengthy explanation, but it's just enough to know what the hell's going on. But you know, this is good. This is bullish. This is what we want. We're happy about it. I hope you found value in this video. If you have, please share it with your friends and your buddies in your community. And Al from Boston signing out. Talk to you soon.